Well, how's it going, Bobby?
Doing great. How you doing, Ed?
Doing great. All right. It's a wonderful Tuesday today, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, this is our show today. Termites, are they a deal killer? I don't know. I've seen some commercials, that in movies or whatever, there might be a deal killer. But you wanted to talk about this because we hadn't talked about termites in a while.
Yeah.
Not that we want to. But are they prevalent a lot in Stanislaus County? Do we see them a lot up here? Because I see them a ton up in Tuolumne.
Yeah. So we're not going to see them as much as you do up in Tuolumne, but down here, yeah, it does happen from time to time, and that was one of the things I think people are most nervous about whenever we get like a pest inspection. They go, pest, what does that cover? I'm like, well, it covers more than just, wood destroying pests. So I was like, but, obviously termites is a main concern, right? Because if you have insects that are eating your house, then we have to resolve that.
Right. The biggest issue a lot of people don't realize is water leaking on the outside of the house will cause termites or carpenter ants and other stuff like that to get in the house, and it's eating the wood of the house drastically, like you would not believe. I've seen some shows on TV, and I'm sure everybody has on HGTV and some of those where they go in and they do inspections and they find that stuff. So I think it's important to have a pest report and also have normal pest checkups, of your house. I know they're only dealing with ants and certain things, but at least your house should be looked at because it's an investment.
Yeah.
So, but talking about in a transaction, first of all, when you guys do a pest report, the lenders don't know about that.
No, correct. Yeah. I mean, no, but that's definitely something.
I'm not saying that we're hiding it.
Yeah.
It's just basically the way the contracts are now. That's a separate addendum for inspections and that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, well, just like escrow and title doesn't need to know everything. Obviously, lenders don't have to know everything too, right?
Right. Well, I mean, if it's going to affect the value of the house, we're supposed to know about it.
Yeah.
But that's why they changed the contract to not be on the front part of the contract, because used to be you check a box to have a pest report done and septic and all this other stuff on the contract, and then we need to know about it.
Exactly. If there's a report, you have to see it.
Right. If we know that it was ordered on a contract and it's part of the contract, then we need to see it. Whether it's bad or good, we have to see it.
Yeah.
The only caveat to that is on VA loans, whether you're doing when you're doing a cash out refinance or a purchase, you have to have a clear pest. But what happens with that is, we've dealt with this a lot in Tuolumne County, is there is a short form VA inspection thing that says there's no active pest, and that's all you need on that. And so you can just have the pest people fill out that form. Some pest companies won't do it, and that's okay. You just find one that will, and then they can deal with any of the dry rot or whatever they want after the fact. Because a lot of times, what people don't realize, and I'm not knocking any pest companies because they're important, but the pest report is a loss leader. What a loss leader is, it's that thing that they would do. Cans of beans are 10 cents today to get you in the store, so you buy other things that are full price, and that's what the repairs are for them. That's where they make their money. I'm not saying they're taking advantage, like like the government saying about the gas people, and the oil people. I'm just saying that's just how that works. They make enough to cover their costs on that. It's to do the repairs. And I'm not saying they're going to make stuff up. I'm just saying that's what that is.
Yeah, you're paying contractor rates, when they give you an estimate of repairs, right? So pest inspection is $95 to $110, depending on who does it, right? And the buyer's going to pay for that. But then, yes, when you get that pest report back, if there's a lot of work to be done, it's going to be depending on how big the house is and how much work, it's going to be a big price tag. So there's 3 different kinds of termites. As you were mentioning, you have dampwood termites. That's obviously from people, letting sprinklers hit their house, especially if you have like wood siding. That one's kind of preventable. But then you also have subterraneans, which you're completely at the mercy of nature on.
Yeah, but that's only if you have a raised foundation, right?
They've even come through slabs if there's like cracks in the slab.
Really?
Yeah. And then they have to core drill the slab and pump the ground full of chemicals. But that one, you're kind of, there's nothing you could have done to prevent that. Right. And then you have drywood termites, and drywood termites fly through the air as they're swarming. And then when their wings fall off, wherever they land is where they land. So about the only thing you can do is have regular pest control, spray your house. And a pest company will tell you, like, we don't guarantee we'll stop termites. But what they say is, hey, if you have all these chemicals on your property, any bug that walks across them is probably going to kill them. Right.
Gotcha.
So that is really, I mean, if you want to really try and ensure you don't have pest problems, but it could still happen.
Yeah. I mean, when I was in Southern California, you could tent a house a day and it's only guaranteed that day.
Yeah.
That they tented the house and took the tent off. After that, termites could come back, because I've seen more termite damage down there in Southern California than anywhere else. And I say it's because there's asphalt and concrete everywhere. So there's only so much places where, like in where our cabin is and other places, any piece of wood that's touching the ground, the termite's going to and starting to eat it, if it's touching the ground. So that's real big not to have it touch the ground. But it's not only termites they look for. I mean, they look at, because there's section 1 items and section 2 items. Section 2 items is like the dirt's up against the side of the house a little too much. You need to clear that away. It could be a loose toilet. I mean, there's just certain things like they could call for. And those things, so section 1 and section 2 items, health and safety, have to be taken care of when you have a pest report, if we know about it, right? Yeah. And that needs to be done. So in today's market, if you're doing a conventional loan, we don't know about anything to do with pests. FHA, we don't know anything. USDA, it's only the VA that we have to know about a clear pest, and that's where you do the short form. So when you're asking, is it a deal killer? Well, it could be if you don't want to take on the responsibility as the buyer for those repairs, right?
Correct. Yes. And so the reason I said, is it a deal killer? Like anything in real estate, it depends. But more than likely, when you show a seller, especially if it's someone who cares about their home and like that's their primary residence, you say, hey, look, I just got this report back. There's like $6,000 in termite repairs. There's an active infestation. They have to clear this up. But then it'll be clear. And a lot of times what they'll do is they'll say, okay, what we, as agents, we do, we say, hey, can you give our buyer a credit? And then we can go ahead and close, and then they can go and hire the contractor. That way you don't hold up the whole escrow process.
Right.
You still get the house, you can hire the contractor. And a lot of times it's going to include tenting the house, and it's got to be, empty for a couple days, and then you're good to go. And then they might have a list of things that need to be removed and replaced, and then you're good. Your termite problem is gone.
Right. And a lot of times with that, as long as the seller's paying for it, right? And it's on the seller side of the CD, and this is going to get very confusing for people, and that's okay. But for us, what we care about is what's on the buyer, what the buyer's paying for only. So if the seller's paying for that tented, but they can't do it today because they're so behind, excuse me a second, allergies, then you can set it up, have them pay the pest company, right, on the seller side of the CD, and we're good. And then they come out after the fact, tent it, do whatever they need to do. Yeah. We have one right now where the guy's lock's expiring on what is today? 13th. And they're putting a new roof on. Well, the roof said a week to a month.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Right. And now in this market, to extend the rate we got him is going to cost money for a month, right? Or 2 weeks or whatever. They don't know. But if the seller's paying for it and they put it on the seller side CD, we don't care. We don't know about it. It's not a big deal. A lot of stuff like that happens in this market, and that's what you need to do. So, yeah. And just talk to your lender, talk to your agents, see how you can work around this, because you want to close on time. You want to make sure that you don't lose your lock rate in this market, because in 2 days it can go up a quarter to a half so fast, and it goes back down that real slow.
Yeah. Well, and get back to as a deal killer. I haven't had a deal fall apart because of termites. There's always been a way to negotiate it, and the way I like to let people remember to think about it is like, they found termites in one section. Say they found in the corner, like by a bedroom. Well, there's still 90% of the house left that's not affected by termites. So as long as you can repair that section, I mean, you don't want to just walk away from a house just because it has a little bit of damage, right? So.
It's gonna have issues. It's a house.
Yeah, every house has issues.
Over time, houses have issues. That's just how it is. We had to replace our roof. We had to replace our air conditioning and heating. Hot water heater had to replace. I got to dig up the concrete on the outside because I have a pipe now leaking that's plastic that they put concrete around. And guess what concrete does when you touch a plastic pipe? It eats it up. So I could have what I just said. We could have issues from that. It's away from the house a little bit, but doesn't mean that it's not enough water to bring stuff to it. So there's a lot of stuff you're going to deal with once you get in the house for the rest of your life that you're going to update or change or paint or this or that. And, there's always something.
Oh, sorry. My allergies got me too.
That's all right. I can't, you can't mute yourself over there because the way we're coming through. So only I can. Yeah. This, I was good until just, we went to Vegas and came back and it was good. And then my wife is like coughing and everything. Her allergies are killing her.
Yeah.
I want to go back to the desert.
Yeah, I know. Nothing to be allergic to unless you're allergic to dust.
Right. Or back up to the cabin where there's no, all fresh air. But what are you going to do? You got to move pine needles if I do that.
Yeah.
All right. So we talked about important stuff. Is termites a deal killer? No, not necessarily. In this market, you're probably buying a house mostly as is. You're going to have to deal with it if you want that house, because if not, they'll tell the next person. The next person will say, no problem, we'll take it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So just talk to your agents, make it work out with them, talk to your lender, and then see what there is. And if that has an issue right there, then contact me and maybe I can tell you something different. Yeah. I'm not trying to take the deal. I'm just saying in this market, there's, things are different and it's going to get tighter and tighter out there. So give us a call. Let us see what we can do for you. And thanks for being here today, Bobby. And thanks for everybody else. If you like what we do here, just like I say, subscribe and share and let people know.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Ed.